got the touch. You got the power. Savior of the universe.
Hello, viewers. We here at DJB Productions Network really hope you have your parents' permission to watch this episode of Those Crazy 80s. I am aspiring author, former independent wrestler, and resident Twitch nerd herder, Foxy Foxxy. And joining me for the first free minute, but unfortunately each additional minute with him is extra, is a man of the 80s. You can see him on Bite Me, DJs After Dark, and Unsung Heroes. Jock for 102.9 WMJGK, Chris Gordon.
Hey, how are you? How you doing?
I am good. You're expensive.
Yes, I am. Well, we gotta keep the sparkles on the vest paid for. There you go.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking all about the cash grab 80s business of hotlines.
Yeah. The hotlines.
Yes, hotlines were all the rage in the 80s. That got a lot of kids in trouble when the phone bill came.
Oh man, the phone bill. Jeez. Why? So what were okay? So the origins of the nine. What was it? The 900 number, right? It's a 900.
Yes, 900 numbers were the ones for kids to call, and then that slowly evolved into 970 and 976 numbers.
The 976 numbers. Okay. Okay. Right, because the first known use, well, the 900 exchange came in January of 71. Its first use in the States was Ask President Carter in 1977. That's when it was first used in the States as an exchange. But right, what you're saying is the 976 numbers, they came later.
Yes.
Oh my God, there was a Michael Jackson hotline.
Oh, you should see the list I've created off of what hotlines the 80s had. There were some I had no idea about. Some that I remember and wished I could have called. But they had a hotline for everything and everyone.
Well, Michael J. It was only 55 cents to call the Michael Jackson hotline. That's a bargain.
For the first minute.
Oh, the first minute, right.
Of course. Every additional minute after is more.
Yeah, so you're going to be stuck on there for the first minute, right? Because you're going to be... You know what? I am so tempted to start... I am really tempted to start calling these numbers.
I would love to know if some of them are active. I honestly would.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I better not. That would be fun, though.
That would.
We get the line like plugged in and just start calling these random numbers, these random 976 numbers. So,
yes.
So did you ever fall for it? Did you ever do it? Did you ever call it?
I really wanted to. There was okay, I'm a weirdo. So Freddy Krueger had a hotline. Okay. And I really wanted
Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I had no idea you had a hotline.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Freddy Krueger had a hotline. And I, for some godforsaken reason, really wanted to call and talk to Freddy Krueger. Because I was secretly obsessed with him back in the 80s. But nobody knew because I would see 1-900-909-FRED. Call Freddy. There we go.
What a great marketing thing.
Isn't it? And he was my secret obsession because I would watch the Nightmare on Elm Street movies at
Mhm.
night because my parents were smart enough to give me cable at like 8 years old in my own room. So of course they're going to bed. I'm like, okay, what's on HBO? And oh look, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger, right? Yeah. Wow.
What would he have even said? Like what?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think obviously it's not. It couldn't be him.
No,
It's
yeah.
going to be. It's probably going to be like a recording for the first minute, and then it's going to suck you in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how they get you. It's a gateway. It's
But
like,
like,
here, just do one line. Just snort one line. You'll be fine.
well, like essentially, what would Freddy Krueger have to record? Like, if you called something like the Hulk Hogan hotline, okay, fine, you get like inspirational shit. You know, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, blah blah blah. What are you gonna get from like Freddy
Well,
Krueger?
no, yeah, it's going to be it's going to be something to creep you out. It's going to be something scary. It's especially if you call before you crash out.
Yeah.
I'll be watching you.
Oh God.
Don't fall asleep.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Of course, it would. For me, it would be more like calling like Hannibal Lecter. You know, but with Freddy Krueger, that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to just be him. He's going to say lines from the movie. He's going to say stuff to freak you out. You know, they're paying some dude that sounds like him. Look, when I lived in Los Angeles, they were like, if you weren't gigging, you weren't eating. So sometimes you'd look through the help wanted, and they had ads for 976 numbers. And but you weren't impersonating those guys. You were doing something else. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure there are actors that they get to, come in and, they just answer the phone.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Hulk Hogan. How you doing?
Not surprisingly though, bands did having hotlines.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Who was it?
Well,
Warrant.
Warrant, yes, the first one that did it was Warrant, followed very shortly by Kiss, of course, because they marketed everything under the
Kiss
sun.
had one? Of course they did, but I don't know why. How did I miss that? Hey, this is Gene Simmons of Kiss. And if you call right now, you'll get a discount on the Kiss coffin, which also doubles as a cooler.
Yeah, look, if there's anything out there, then we already know Kiss has done it. Like, there's a hotline, of course Kiss has done it. They're the Spaceballs of rock bands. Merchandising.
Yeah. Well, they wrote the book on that. They wrote the book on merchandising. I mean, technically speaking, if you anything that you do, like if you have a T-shirt that you're selling with your face on it, your logo on it, you're in the Kiss business. That's what. But 976 numbers, what a great idea. And it's interesting. Like, I'm kind of surprised, like, some local artists haven't picked up on that. Like, you get yourself a hotline, But the thing is, like, you're going to answer. There's 1-900-9099 cry. If you need a good cry, oh man, how great is this?
I read about that one.
45 cents. First minute, $2. No, it's $2 for the first minute. Then it's 45 cents additional minutes. Okay, so they're definitely going to keep you on for a minute. They're definitely going to
call in to cry. Like, come on,
yeah.
You're going to be on there forever. It's like a therapist. Well, no, just
yeah. But what are they saying? They're like, oh, I need a good cry. Well, I'll give you something to cry about. Yeah, I guess there's no shortage. The weird thing is I'm seeing that stuff come back. I'm seeing those numbers come back. What are they called? They're like the social hotlines or something.
Yeah.
It's basically Craigslist into a phone.
Yeah.
Or what is it? What is that other thing that they do? They swipe right. What is that called?
I don't know. I'm married.
Tinder.
Yeah.
It's basically Tinder, but you're like actually on, But I don't understand it. I never understood the idea. Like, you're on the phone and there's like 15, 20, 30, 40 people, all kind of, it's like, remember those old AOL chat rooms?
Yes.
and you'd be on there and you'd start chatting with somebody or whatever, but it's like that, but you're all talking over each other. That's what I'm assuming. Cause like I said, I've never been on a
Hmm.
not, what are they, 976 or I've never called. And, that's cause my dad would have just skinned me alive, if he
Hmm.
saw that on the General Hospital update. Oh, wow. That's right. You could call those numbers to get updates on your favorite soaps.
Wow, I did not know
Did
that.
Luke and Laura tie the knot? Call now, 976-8080. That's 976-8080. $15 for the first minute.
Wait, is
And it's
I
going
have
to
to
take us
reread
that
that.
long to tell you. Look at that.
It says 55 cents per call. Oh, so that one's relatively. No, there's probably something shady behind that. There's no way it's just
Yeah,
50.
but it says normal toll charges apply. Now, that's the other thing. You got to, remember those toll charges?
Yes, I do.
Oh, jeez. Got them old. Remember those? Oh. Okay, so the 900 number started out for kids, I guess, or at least here in the States with, ask
Hmm.
President Carter. Uh,
Yes, and then it evolved to the 970s, which were more like the teenager ones, and then 976 became the adult ones.
the party line.
976
976
pals.
pals. Chicago's #1 party line. No, that's very 80s there. Look at that.
That
Beautiful.
is.
Chicago. That's great. 976.
You know,
Yeah,
if you think about it, those party lines were like the birthplace of what's called catfishing now, because you could easily just
yeah.
lie about your age, lie about like your appearance, and I wonder if anyone ever met up from those things.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
That's
And
crazy.
look, there had to have been there. I think if you watch enough crime TV, you would probably see, that it all, there had to have been stuff like that going on. You know,
Yeah.
Matter of fact, come to think of it, now that we're talking about this, I had years ago. I think I literally was just out of high school, like not even. And a friend of mine met a girl through a 976 number because he calls me up one day. He's like, "Hey, dude, I got a date tonight." I was like, "Oh, cool." And he's like, "I met her on a party line." And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, that's what he did. She gave him her address and everything like that. It's kind of creepy. Oh yeah, that's one person I just can't wait to call. Jesus, Corey Haim. Ugh.
And that's just his. I know both of them had the Coreys. They had their own line as well. Everybody had a line.
I guess it was all part of it. It was, I guess, that like the 976 for an actor or an artist was an equivalent to our URL today.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. Now I think that I'm beginning to this is coming together in my brain now, is that $2 for the first minute is just updates. It's just them, and hey, and he's doing this or she's doing that. Keep you on there for a minute. Please hold the line. Corey Haim will be with you in a minute. You're sitting there and you're waiting. You're like, yeah, they got you. They got your $2.
Yeah.
And then from there, whatever. Oh, it's crazy. Now, when did the psychic thing come into play? Because that to me is where things get really, like the party thing. Okay, that's a social thing.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm still a little taken aback by the 976 cry or whatever. It's almost kind of like a fetish thing. 976 feet.
Well,
Like,
psychics started doing the 900 numbers somewhere around 89, but the full-on Psychic Friends network, that was a big thing, was 91.
was that with oh, that's with what's her name? Was that Dionne Warwick?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, that was
See?
one with, she did the whole Psychic Friends network, yeah.
Wow, that's it. So you call 976 psych
Mhm.
and they're going to tell you stuff. 95 cents. $2 for the first minute. 90. Oh, that's just easy. Because they're going to say, well,
Okay.
I need a minute.
I gotta rant about this for a hot second. Because back then, seeing the psychic blinds, you know, the first initial thing you say is, oh, well, if they're so psychic, do they know that I'm gonna call? Okay, but looking at that ad, it is very misleading because it has all the tarot cards. To be a tarot card reader, you do not need to be a psychic. Like,
right.
those are two totally different things. So that is
Okay.
horrible marketing right there.
Right.
And not only that, the tarot card reader will keep you on way longer than any psychic will. So that's like a shot to your pocket right there.
Yep. Yeah.
Missed
Yeah,
it
I don't
quick.
even.
Sorry. That just annoyed me. It absolutely annoyed me.
Well, the whole psychic thing can get a little weird.
It can.
But yeah, no, it's weird. Like, I don't know. You making a phone call to. I don't know.
Making a phone call to see if you're going to win the lottery.
Yeah, well, I hope you do because you're going to need that money to pay the phone bill.
Uh-huh. Of all the hotlines though that the 80s had, I think the one that was the biggest cash grab that made the most money were like the Nintendo video game tips.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but, you know, we all wanted to figure out how to beat like Mario or whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, we couldn't just quickly Google things like, okay, how do we beat this level, or watch the videos on YouTube. You had to call and get the tips.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think that one is probably the biggest one that led to a lot of kids beatings.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Oh man. Just I don't know. There was just something about it that I just remember, like, you always hang out, you're in middle school, high school, your buddies are over and, they're like, hey, let's call a 976 number. And I just remember going, man, I don't know. I just feel the idea of it still makes me feel dirty. It just feels dirty to me. Like, why would I I either have to be really bored or there's really got to be something going on in my life that's not working out for me to even look at the phone. Now, I mean, it's different because, I would seriously consider it just for the entertainment purpose of this show, of like, calling 976 numbers and actually like having like a bizarre conversation. It's almost like as if, those moments when like a scammer calls you and it's a scammer. It's like, you just keep them on the phone. It's like, oh, I'm gonna have fun with this guy, do all kinds of weird stuff. But 976, like that's how ingrained it is in me. Like my dad's not even with us anymore, and I'm still afraid to call.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird. That's haunting me. The UFO hotline. Yes, sir. Is there such things as UFOs?
Yes.
We don't know yet, but thanks for holding.
Yes, wait a minute. Don Johnson just scolded us. Right.
Yeah, like that's because we didn't mention his 976 number. 976 Miami. So great. And Don Johnson. Yeah, no, it was. I guess it was a phenomenon throughout. Throughout the 80s. Like I said, but it was. It also was. I think it was also a reflection on the time too, because it was. Life was a party in the 80s. And it wasn't enough. It was like, well, I can't go out, but the party has to continue. Just make a call.
It was social media before social media.
Yeah, it was social media. It's really what it was. And I guess there were people who were, oh, you know what? Oh, wow. 976. Okay. This is like recall memory. Like all of a sudden, like I'm having these like flashbacks. Well, every time we do a show, I have a flashback.
976 memory. There we go.
Yeah, 976. Dude, have you forgotten something? Call me. So I was a guitar player in this band for a while, and I had decided to move on, and they got another guy, in it to replace me, and I moved on. So I move out to LA. I come back, I guess a couple years later, and I meet up with the guys again. And I'm like, "Hey man, how's it going? How you been?" And they're like, "Hey, it's great." I said, "Hey, how's it's been a couple years. How's that guy? How's that new guy?" And he's like, "We had to let him go." And I said, "Why? What happened?" And he's like, um, "He he got into a lot of financial trouble." I was like, "What kind of financial trouble?" Exactly what happened. The guy racked up $7,000 in 976 number calls in a single week. And
Wow.
he wasn't calling the psychic hotline, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. It was nuts. I was like, yeah, guy had a problem. That's an addiction, I guess. And I guess everything is, I guess it can be,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow.
And that's $7,500 in 976 numbers. I wonder who holds the record. Let's see. Let us find out, shall we? Maybe we can actually
Yes.
name names.
Yes.
Say who record holder. I love this for most money. We should be having our off-screen producers doing this. Oh, yeah, I'm getting scolded. For
Our
most money
off-screen
spent.
producer is Don Johnson.
Yeah, and he's in a mood. For most money spent on 976 numbers. Okay, here we go.
We can't
Yeah, I
anger the
got
producer because he'll send
got
his
it now.
alligator after us.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's not giving me. It's
Boo.
not giving. No, not giving me anything. Man, I would love to know if there who was the person who spent the most. No, not telling me anything. Anyway, yes, I see that texting has taken over. Texting has taken over everything. But like I said, there's still hotlines around. I've seen them.
Yeah,
Like I see them
there
on
are.
commercials late at night. I'm like, what the hell is this stuff? And it's always,
Mhm.
and I guess they're playing it up because of the pandemic and everything. They're like, I just like to talk to someone. I need to hear someone's voice. Call now. But I guess
Everybody
it's a whole different
wait.
thing now because it's not a landline. So, it's like, if you
Mhm.
got unlimited data or minutes or whatever, I don't know. I mean, they got to be making money somehow.
Yeah, serious. I remember MTV used to late at night during like Headbangers Ball in 120 minutes back then.
I loved
They,
Headbangers Ball.
me too. They would constantly play the same like 976 hotline commercial where the girls are like, "Pick up the phone." It's a jingle that's still stuck in my head.
My nurse. Okay. Hello. I hurt myself. I need a nurse. Yeah, no, you see, that's the thing. That's target audience, right? So,
Mhm.
Headbangers Ball probably was only able to be on the air because those advertisers. Were paying for that time. And you
Mhm.
got some pretty drunk metalhead, not stereotyping metalheads. I'm a metalhead, but the dudes, they're like it's 3 in the morning, they're hammered. They're like, dude. They're hanging out in there. There's holes in their wall. Yeah, right there. You see, this is perfect. One nine
Oh,
hundred
that's
646 easy. That comes up on a commercial on Headbangers Ball, and some drunk dude with a half-eaten pizza in him got holes in his wall, and him and his buddies just got back from the bar, and they're drunk, and they're like, and of course, they're just dudes. It's a sausage fest, and they're like, dude, let's call a number. They put it on. Yeah, yeah. Ah, I don't know. If that day had ever happened to me, I'd really have to sit there and think of my choices. I know. I'm sorry. I sound like I'm shitting on 976 numbers, but I'm kind of shitting on 976 numbers.
you are, but you're not.
But I'm not shitting on the people who choose to call them. That's their right. They can do that. But you are getting
Exactly.
ripped off. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mhm.
And trust me, if you call 1-900-4, I can't believe I memorized this number. That's weird. 464 easy. He only flashed it on the screen a second. It's already in here. Um,
It's an
if
easy
you
number.
really think, if you really think that the girl you're talking to looks like that, it's a guy named Ralph. Trust me,
He's wearing
guarantee it.
khakis.
Hi, thanks for calling. I could do that.
You
I should do that. I
Were
could
there
make a
any of
few
those
extra
ever
bucks.
geared towards women, or were they all just geared towards men? Like, was there a Chippendales hotline or anything? 'Cause Chippendales were huge in the 80s.
Yeah, they were. They were. Well, yeah, I guess they were. Sorry. I know. That was too easy. I shouldn't have done that. Let's see if Dan can put up a Chippendales hotline number.
Yeah, I mean, there had to have been. There were lonely women. Oh God.
909
Wait,
Jeff.
no,
New
that's
rap
Jazzy
every day.
Jeff.
Oh, there's a new rap every day. That's cool. Yeah, no. You know what? Well, that's interesting in
Right?
terms of whether there was the men hotline. But that you see, that's the thing. Okay, now you're getting into now we're kind of getting into the kind of crazy territory because it was aimed at men.
Mhm.
The that those numbers. I mean, there was numbers that were aimed at women. I mean, let's face it. I hate that I keep stopping myself because in the world today. I feel like I'm going to get like I don't know. I'm afraid I'm going to get canceled. But I'm talking about the '80s. That I think psychic hotlines, um, those kinds of things, were probably more aimed at women.
Yeah.
Um, Not to say that men didn't partake in that. I'm sure they did. But the 46900 easy, um, aimed at men, and men were gonna, I mean, like sex sells. But you're right. I mean, sex sells on the other side of it too. Chippendales. There had to have been a Chippendale
There
number.
had to. 'Cause like I said, Chippendales was a huge thing in the 80s. Super huge.
I never heard him talk though.
That's also a
I
valid point.
never heard him
That is a,
talk.
that is a very
They're,
valid point.
they're up there in their banana hammocks.
Ah!
Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. I remember that episode.
Me too. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So that it was all aimed at that. It was a huge industry, though. Huge.
It really was. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still thriving, obviously.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is. It is still thriving, which it's interesting. It's kind of like in a way, it's kind of made a comeback.
Hmm.
It's kind of made a comeback. Uh. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Like Matt just chimed in. Our co-producer just trying. Remember the remake of the Aerosmith "Sweet Emotion"
Yes.
that Aerosmith did with the where the kid calls the sex hotline.
Hmm.
And it's supposed to be talking to this hot chick, and it's actually
Hmm.
she's holding the baby and the cigarette hanging, and she's ironing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's probably pretty much that was probably close to reality, you know. So pay no attention to the woman behind the curtain. Listen to my voice. Listen to my voice. But I remember in Los Angeles, there were a lot of people I did know, uh, musicians especially, that were doing that was their job. That's how they were. That's how they were paying their rent, and they could do it from their apartment. The
Yeah.
line would get. They had a separate phone, and they would, you know, hanging out having a beer or something, and that other phone would ring, and they'd be like, "I'll be right back." They'd be gone for 20 minutes. You're like, "Oh yeah, you're working. I get it." Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, such a weird thing.
Wow.
Yeah, but I will not. Yeah, I'm not gonna call. But I think I think we could. It would be fun to do a follow up show where we set up a phone and actually call some of these.
Yes.
I don't know what the legal ramifications are though. I don't know. I don't. I can't keep up. I don't know. Like if you broadcast a conversation you have on a 976 number, whether yeah, you have to get consent. In other words, if you call a 976 number and you actually get a live person, you have to say, I'm recording you. Oh, right. Sexy short stories for. Oh, wow.
Hmm,
Is that recent? That looks like a recent thing.
it does.
I don't know. Crazy stuff.
I don't know.
Well,
But
luckily I avoided that era.
well, that being said, let us wrap this up in a tiny little 976 bow.
Nice.
Uh, yes,
Before
Dawn. I know.
we get yelled at by Don again.
I kind of like the idea that Don Johnson's the producer. It really makes this whole thing a lot funnier.
It really does. That's great.
God almighty. All right. Viewers, thank you for checking out this episode of Those Crazy 80s. To be sure that you are up to date with all of the new episodes coming, make sure you subscribe to DJB Productions Network on YouTube, where you are watching this right now. Individually, you could also find us, myself, on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Viva Foxy Foxy. That's VIVA FOXY FOXSY. You can also hop onto patreon.com to help me support my upcoming book at patreon.com/Foxy Foxy and youtube.com/Foxy Foxy, where you will see a bunch of my old videos as well as playlists for Those Crazy 80s. So there's no shortage of finding our stuff. Where can they
Right.
find
And
you?
you can reach me at 976 Crazy 80s. It's $5 for the first minute and $1.50 for every minute after that. I can be found on Facebook, obviously, and Bandcamp /Chris Gordon, and my new record, Chronicles of Chaos, will be out in April, and it'll be fun. And that's where you can find me and hear me, because I won't answer the phone if you call that 876 number.
Come on, pick
I hired someone to do that for me. Not 876, 976, 976.
Wow.
You know what? I think we should talk to Don Johnson about having DJB Productions do a 976 number. You can get all the latest. All right, folks. Had a great time, as always.
All right. Thank you
Cheers.
for watching.